But I was like, are they in the waiting room?
It's just us today,
It's just
guys.
us. Exactly right. It's just us.
We don't know what to do with our hands.
That's right. Hi. Hello. Hi everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
So y'all, okay, as you know, we are now solidly in Q4, which is a little bit it's a lot to think about Q4. I also am like a secret Q4 fan because I really like to finish the year strong.
Yes.
And then roll into Q1 and not feel so overwhelmed. You know, like you've got like your kind of like go off the rails people who just like to throw caution to the wind during Q4 and then they figure they'll get it back together. Yeah. And I can appreciate that because I do have some tendencies that are that way.
Sure.
But not about Q4. I'm a big Q4 fan.
I love that.
Yeah. And so y'all, this month we've been picking our favorite business books. And so the week or growth books. So for this week, the book is The One Thing.
Such a good one.
It's a really good book.
Non-real estate or real estate, I think.
That's exactly right. It's totally non-real estate. This is for anybody. And it's written by Gary Keller, who owns Keller Williams, which is the big company that Mary Cheatham King Real Estate's affiliated with. So Gary Keller, so he's a real estate billionaire. I mean, he knows some stuff, right? He's figured some things out, and he's really interesting, and he's a big mindset person. And so he wrote this with the guy he writes books with named Jay Papasan. And so it's really cool because both Jay and Gary live in Austin. And so I get to go every quarter to Austin and go to these really cool meetings there with agents from around the country. And it's just awesome. But they're super accessible and have just some really cool things to share. And so if you're interested in learning more about them, we have some other resources. Jay actually has just started a weekly email, the 20%er. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. And that's based on Pareto's principle, which is that 20% of your activities create 80% of your results. So the whole key is identifying what are the 20% that you should be focused on. Yeah.
It's so good.
And that totally relates back to this book. So what I wanted to do was just to read y'all just this one section, which is talking about the parole board in Israel. Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay. I know. I really, it's weird. I think I've read this to y'all before. I don't know why I love this, because part of why I love it is because it's about snacks. Okay.
I'm ready.
So the researchers analyzed 1,112 parole board hearings assigned to 8 judges over a 10-month period. The pace is grueling. The judges hear arguments and take about 6 minutes to render a decision on 14 to 35 parole requests a day. Okay, so they hear anywhere from 14 to 35 parole requests a day, and they only get 2 breaks, a morning snack and a late lunch to rest and refuel. The impact of their schedule is as spectacular as it is surprising. In the mornings and after each break, parolees' chances for being released peak at 65%. And then plunge to almost 0 by the end of each period.
So you're telling me.
So I'm telling you that at the beginning of the day, when they're fresh and they first get there and they have their coffee, that they are 65% is the likelihood of them releasing the prisoner and letting him be paroled.
So
but as they get closer to the mid-morning snack, as their energy wanes, as their focus wanes, right? As their ability to make so many decisions wanes, they just default to, no, you got to stay in jail. Right? We're not gonna give you parole.
Sure.
And then after they have their morning snack, it goes up to 65% again. Then it goes down. After lunch, it goes up to 65% again. Then it goes down until the end of the day.
So you're telling me snacks are the key.
I totally am telling you snacks are the key. That's exactly right. And what I'm telling you is that there's repetitive decision making, and there's also the issue of kind of our default, right? And so I think the thing is that we all have kind of a default operating system that it's really easy to fall back on. And I think Q4 is a time when it's really easy to fall back on your default operating system and you just kind of coast. So what Meg and I wanted to talk to you guys about today, number 1 is great book. And number 2 is that one of the tools, it doesn't run through this tool in the book that I can recall.
Yeah,
I don't think it does, but it's called the 411. And Meg and I have talked about this before. on Coffee with MC. And so basically it's about goal setting and using a tool to help guide you, to help keep you from your default and help to keep you in your focus zone.
Yep. And one thing we did, because we talked about this a couple years ago on one of our first Coffee with MC episodes. But one thing that I think would work really well for, right now is you break it down by week, month, and year. But what do you think about breaking it down by week, month, and quarter?
That's exactly, and that's our plan, you guys.
Great.
I mean, it's so interesting. We run our business now on quarters,
yeah.
which is such an interesting concept, like, because it doesn't just have to be on from a business standpoint, it can be from a personal standpoint. Like, I don't know if I get so overwhelmed thinking about
Same.
New Year's resolutions and what do I want to accomplish this year? Heavens, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And it feels demotivating. I really like taking a 3-month chunk because you can get a lot done in 3 months. You can accomplish a lot of goals.
Yep.
You can make some great strides in 3 months. So the tool, thank you for pointing that. The tool is that you take 1 year. So it's a 4-1-1, meaning that you take 1 year, 1 month, and 4 weeks. So instead of that, we're going to do quarterly.
Yeah.
So 1 quarter, 1 month, and then the 4 weeks of that month.
And the whole point, I always picture like building blocks. So when you're like visually, we'll actually post the PDF that we've used in the past. That works really well. But I picture it as, so you have 4 little blocks under your week section. And what do you need to do each week in order to meet that monthly goal? What do you need to do that month to meet your quarterly goal? So it kind of like all builds on top of each other and you're working backwards. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. One of the things I also really like about it to go along with what you said is if you picture it, there's just 3 sections on the paper. And at the top, it has your quarter or your year. If you use the traditional 4-1-1, we're going to do quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So it has your quarterly goal. So if you think about it, once you write that down, and you can do a business goal, a personal finance goal, a personal goal,
wellness, it could be anything.
Right. Yeah. And there's your business and then there's your job sometimes, or wellness. I mean, so there's a million, it can be whatever categories you choose, but that stays the same for the whole quarter. So when you think about it, you have this tool and it's one piece of paper, whether you're a digital person or have a pen that you want to fill it in with. So that part stays the same. And then the month, likewise, you fill out the month part for that 1 month. So really what will happen is at the end of a quarter, you'd basically have 3 pieces of paper.
That's it.
Is the way that it would work. So if you do a year, you'll have 12 pieces of paper, right? Or 12 digital files or however you choose to do it. But so you'll have the quarterly goal or yearly goal that stays the same, then the monthly goal that breaks it down for that particular month. And then the thing that changes is every week, some people choose to do it on a Friday. If you have business related goals, it may be that you stop on a Friday afternoon and you say, okay, I'm going to wrap up and tie this up with a bow so that when I get back here Monday morning, I know what my initiatives are. I know what I need to accomplish next week. And some people do it on a Monday morning. Some people do it Sunday afternoon, but that you have a plan for when you fill in the weekly things that you have to accomplish that move you towards that monthly goal and then that quarterly goal.
I love that. And at the end of the quarter, if you have all 3 of those sheets of paper and you've succeeded in following your weekly, your monthly, and ultimately your quarterly goals, then it's, what does Gary Keller say in that book? He says, what's the one thing you can do
that in so doing makes everything else unnecessary, or can't remember what he says. Like basically obsolete. So it's figuring out what's the one thing.
And you can sit back on December 31st. I think I said this before, but you can sit back on December 31st of this year and be like, I did it, type of thing. Like, what's that one thing where you'll feel really, accomplished if you succeed at it. So I think working backwards from there and thinking about yourself on December 31st of this year, being like, okay, how do I feel like this year would have been a win, or this quarter would have been a win? Set your goal and then work backwards from there.
Yes. And I love the fact that you can think about it in terms of something that's personal, something that's health related, something that's business. I mean, whatever that may be.
Right.
That makes it really exciting too, because you can be moving forward in different areas of your life.
Agree.
Yeah.
So we'll share, I know it's hard without visuals, but if you guys look in the comments right here, we have posted the PDF that we've used. You can see the blank spaces. Feel free to print it out, print maybe 3 out for the rest of the quarter. I personally have like Christmas finances on there because that's coming up. I have some personal goals, some work goals, things of that nature. So you guys will see the different categories. If you want to scratch them out or white them out and do your own categories, that is great too. But
I know, what let's do? Let's make a blank one that's totally blank. So we'll show you guys the categories that we've been using, but you don't have to. You can use whatever categories you want, but it will at least give you an idea of it.
Cool.
Yeah, and then there'll be a blank one too.
Great.
So we hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah,
Yay.
we love this tool, and I think our team's is utilizing it as well. I know a couple team members are.
They are, and our plan is to really go back to that in 2023. So we're going to be practicing Q4, getting everybody on a 411, because it also helps to be able to share them with people, whether that's that you do one at home and you put it on your refrigerator, whether it's that you share it with a colleague, whatever that may be, depending on what realm your goals are. Then it makes sense, I think, who you would want to share it with, so that people can help hold you accountable and help encourage you along the way.
Agree. Yay. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to do that. Is there anything else from the one thing that you can think of that you want to leave people with before we answer our final question? Y'all, this book, did we say the title of it? The One Thing by Gary Keller?
Did.
Okay,
yeah.
great. It's seriously, I mean, my mom read it, my dad read it, people love it. And it's just a great way. It's a productivity hack, I think.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's a whole section that's just questions that you can ask to help identify what your one thing is and the different parts of your life.
Super good.
Yeah, it is. And I think, it's funny, last week, the book that we talked about was Atomic Habits.
Yes.
And it's really interesting because one of the quotes from Atomic Habits, I think, ties right in with this book, was that, James Clear from Atomic Habits says that you shouldn't be nearly as concerned with your results as you are with your trajectory. And I think there's something so freeing and so powerful in that, that we get kind of so caught up in what you've accomplished or where you are at this exact moment. When I think the thing to think about is, this you can change anything in your life by applying the principles. So think about your trajectory.
That's so good. And that reminds me of the Happiness Advantage, that book.
Yes.
When they say happiness is the means, not the end. It's the trajectory. It's the journey along the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Love
Yay,
it.
good. Well, I hope y'all enjoy.
Yes. Do you have a what's saving your life, or was that what was saving your life?
I think actually what's saving my life right now, interesting. Thank you, Andy. Is that Andy, who we work with and who's amazing. She works with Meg in our marketing department. Andy is having me really do a deep dive on these books. And so it's really been fun, because it's a great time of year to think about what are those books and dusting them back off. And even just in picking it up and going back and reading, I'm a big highlighter, reading back through stuff I've highlighted or looking at my notes. It's almost like reading the whole book again. So that's really what's been saving my life, is getting back into some of my favorite books.
Such a good one.
Yeah. How about you? What's saving your life?
Well, it's soup season, people.
Oh, love soup season.
But most importantly, it's leftover soup season.
Yeah. Because it only gets better.
Soup for lunch the next day.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
all.
So what's your favorite soup right now?
I just made a turkey chili in the crock pot.
That's a really
past weekend.
Yeah.
But I love my chicken and wild rice soup. I shared that last year.
Yeah.
Defined dish. Love her.
She's amazing.
And then Half Baked Harvest just posted a spicy buffalo chicken chili.
You know what? I saw that. That sounds so good.
I screenshot
that sounds so good. Okay. I know you've had this before, but what about the it's Whole30, but the one that is the chicken pot pie soup. Oh my God, you guys, it is so good. Now it's cauliflower based, so cover all the men's ears and the children.
They won't know.
They will not know. It is so good. Okay, we'll post that too. But let's post one of your favorite soups also. God, soup season. What a good one.
Oh, well,
It's gonna be a great week.
Happy book month. Happy soup season.
Thank you. Books and soup
and 411s.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thanks everybody.
Have a great
weekend.